Hello everyone and welcome to today's viewer verdict video where you get to cast your judgment on a game. This is an old one this time. This is one I've actually covered on the channel before, not very much. The Kickstarter campaign for Core Clash ran back in 2020 I think. Then the initial shipment of it was delayed by COVID, and when it did arrive I did an unboxing, I did a couple of test videos. They did okay over time, but the game itself was backed by not many people. I believe it was between 400 or 500 at most. So it never reached critical mass that you would expect miniature games, especially on Kickstarter, to get to, which is a great shame because the game itself, from what I remembered, played very well. Granted, there is some mistranslations in the rulebook. It is a Chinese game, but well, actually, I can't remember if it was China. I think it was they were based in Hong Kong, but either way, can't quite remember. But it plays well, and the model quality is great. And for a good viewer's verdict video, I thought, why not give it a chance? Because that's part of the reason this series exists. You might have seen these videos pop up in your feed and been like, I don't know what Core Clash is, I'm not going to watch that. But hopefully, now that you have a chance to cast a verdict on it, you will actually give it a chance. I hope you do, because I do remember liking it, and this time everything is painted, every character is painted, every bit of scenery is painted, so that should hopefully also make the viewing experience a little bit better. And the gist of it here is, if you aren't familiar, a viewer's verdict video, after you watch you can cast your vote as to whether or not you are for or against seeing more Core Clash on the channel in the comment section below. You can go into as much or as little detail as you like about your decision. The first video I did of Core Clash, actually playing it, I went into extensive detail about how it's played, so much so that I went back and watched it to relearn, not just reading the rulebook. So it's actually still very useful for that. So I will give a very brief overview now of how to play, just to make it better for viewing purposes. But if you want the very specific stuff, I would say go watch the very first battle report I filmed of this. In Core Clash, it's two sides of three robots fighting over resources on a dying wasteland of a planet, and I painted some of them to look like characters that may or may not be infringing copyright, but no copyright infringement was intended, I'm sure. So, two sides. The winner is whoever's left standing. You have to completely destroy your opponent's bots, and you do so by, kind of similar to Warcry actually, which I hadn't played at the time when I first played this. You roll action dice and then you assign the dice to actions for the robots. You roll 3 d6s and 2 d3s, although it's just, they also look like d6s, but they only have 1, 2s and 3s on them. You assign those for movement, for basic attacks, for special attacks, and you just try and destroy your enemies. Each character has an ult that at the start of the game is locked. You can open it as one of the choices of a bonus you get if you lose one of your team. You can also collect what's called cumulative energy. It rewards you if you miss, so that a miss doesn't feel as bad, and you can spend cumulative energy on some bonuses. You also get them if you get a really good crit, from what I recall. But the gist of it is you move around the board, you can hit people into hills, you can hit people into buildings, and some characters have shields, hence having the... Oops, I step on one of my dog's toys that she put under my foot. This is a 3D terrain add-on that was in the Kickstarter for shields. That's just to show which units have the ability to use a shield. Once per game, when they're about to take damage, they can say, I'm activating my shield. It goes on them like that, reduces all instances of damage by 1, and most things in the game only does 1 damage. So that can protect them for a whole turn, but at the end of a turn, shield goes away, can't come back. If you were playing the advanced mode, I believe there's a way to get back shields. There's 3 ways to play the game. Standard mode, which is what we're doing today, it's the simplest form, it plays quicker. There is advanced mode where there's more stats effects. Character cards are completely different, characters have totally different powers, they play differently. Never got the chance to do that on camera. And then there's also a co-op mode where you play as a team of 3 either against a huge boss that fills up one whole tile, which is 4 areas, or a horde of enemies, and you've got to protect a building, I think. Never played that one, but maybe we'll one day, depending on how this does. I'll let you see the other side in a second, and then we'll just very quickly show you how a character card looks. Last thing to mention, at the start of the game, each side also gets 2 landmines to put on the map, so you'll be seeing those placed once they're in. But today we have Bravo, who may look like someone in particular. We have Bolt, who featured in the other 2 videos I did in this game before, and then we have Kyojin, who I believe featured in 1, but he wasn't painted at the time. So hopefully it'll look a little bit nicer with them painted. And this is the team, the red team, going up against them. If you aren't familiar, you use these cubes to denote teams. It's actually really nice that they're built into the bases. They're actually attached by magnets underneath there. So you can play up to 4 players and you get 3 sets of 3 cubes if you did want to do that. Today we have, over here, we have the Magus, and he has a shield. He is an old man who teleports around and doesn't do much damage, but he can harass from anywhere. And that's kind of the theme of this team. We also have Avenger, who is a long-range archer who also has shield capabilities. And this is from the co-op mode. I've made them look like, you know who I've made them look like. You know who they made them look like, honestly. I painted him up because I wanted just to paint someone purple. It's been a while. So he's going to stand in for Core Destroyer, which is kind of like the Megatron parody, who I actually have here. He's base coated, but I haven't had time to paint him yet. So not Shockwave here, who's actually called Ender, I believe, is going to stand in. So I'll just refer to him as Core Destroyer, but that is not who that is. They both got huge cannons on their hand, and he's painted, so I thought just use him. So the last thing to look at, just really quickly, to hopefully just ease you in. I hope I'm not going too quickly, but as I say, those previous videos, they should hopefully fill in any blanks, or you'll just pick up the rest from watching the play happen. This is how a stat card looks. Again, this is the standard mode. There's also advanced and co-op modes for all the characters. Their ult is down here in the bottom left. As I said, it is not usable at the start of the game. There is one exception, don't need to worry about that here. That's where you assign a die if you want to do a basic attack, and that tells you how their basic attack is. Most of them have that symbol, which just means you can attack someone in your tile, which is the 4 areas that make up each individual square, like the one up there. You have special moves. They're called weapons in the game, but I always refer to them as abilities, kind of like in a MOBA style. So if you had the number 5 die rolled in your roll, you could say, I am assigning that to Vent Plasma, and that gives you access to using that ability. You can spend as many of your dice on a robot as you want, so in one turn someone could do most of the dice. You can't do 2 of the same action or weapon in the same turn unless otherwise stated, however. So you couldn't, if you had 2 5s, you couldn't do 2 of them because you've already assigned a die to it. You can't do it again. But you could do, if you had a 3, you could do a plasma shot. You could also do a basic attack for whatever number is listed, so in that case it would be 4, and you could also do a move and say, hey, he's moving 2. So that's 4 out of the 5 dice you get assigned to the one person. Health bar wise, you lose damage, you take away a cube. If you hit a blue cube, any excess damage is lost, it goes away, and the health bar fills with just green. So essentially it's a second health bar. The benefit is that it eats any excess damage at the point at which it's procced. So he has 6 health technically, but he has that little benefit. Bolt has 4. Kyojin has, well, technically he has 2 full health bars. He is very tanky. Similar health bars on the other side as well. So the only other thing to mention is both sides will deploy on either side of a table. One side on over here, and then the other over the other side. On the first turn of the game, you get less dice to use, so they won't have as much to do for the first turn. And I believe that about covers it. I think we're actually ready to get deployed now. Anything else will come up as we play. I'll talk through an attack when it happens, because the way you roll dice and what number you're looking for is a little different. It's not quite what you would expect. I actually quite like how it's handled in this, for the record. But we'll cover that once we're actually playing, so I don't overload the stuff at the top of the video too much. I've probably already done that. I have a tendency to ramble. Let's get set up. So we're all set up and good to go. The red team are deployed to your left, the blue team to your right. You get all of the first tile area for each side, and then you've got the 2 rows, or columns rather, of tiles that are the no man's land in the centre. The centre of the map has become very dangerous based on where the mines have ended up. You can choose to move over a mine. Like if you walked into this tile, you're not forced to stand on a mine. You could stand there, you could stand there. It's only if you get, well, 1 if you willingly walk onto one, or 2 if you get pushed or pulled, because there's robots that do that. Kyojin in particular is very much about forcing movement, so he wants to pull people into buildings and in mountains and stuff like that. So on the first turn, which is the red team, if I didn't already say that, you only get to roll 3 dice to see what they do, 3 d6s. On turn 1 for the blue side, they get to roll 4, so they get a d3 added, like that. And unlike how I did it before, going to assign dice off camera, show where it is, just to give a general idea. You don't have to decide your entire turn before you start doing stuff. That's just to show you intent on camera. Obviously any changes will be vocalized, and then we'll get to attacking. So the game state is set up. We go into the first turn and we go until one side is dead. So here's how those 3 dice have rolled out. They've got a 2, 3 and a 4. Core Destroyer, who again is being stand-in by this miniature. is going to use a 3 for movement and has put 4 on a basic attack, although his basic attack he can fire down on an entire row. You only get to pick one person in the row, but he can fire the full length of the play area. The 2 is being placed here on the Magus, and that is special. It's got an orange border. You reroll and reallocate this die, then he teleports to any area, and an area is a tile is made up of 4 areas. So we're going to just reroll that real quick. It is a 5. We'll see where that goes. It's probably going to go on Ruthless Crusher and just make Core Destroyer have a really good turn. So let's presume that for now. So we'll go back to the board, and the first thing that will be happening is the Magus is teleporting to anywhere on the board he wants. That was done more for the reroll than anything else. So the Magus is just teleporting 1 square, so he's got a little bit of cover, and because he can attack any area on the map, he doesn't need to be near. So that's what he's going to do. He is weak though, he's only got 4 health. So then we come to the other dice that were all put on Core Destroyer. He can move 3 as long as you're not moving into or moving out of an area with enemies, or you're not moving into or out of water. You can move between tiles for the cost of 1 movement. You can also move in the area of a tile for 1 movement. So that would be 1 if you wanted to move there, but you could also just move there and that's still 1 movement because you're just moving from tile to tile. So at most he can move 3. He is simply going to go 1, technically 2 because he's moved within the same tile, and he can shoot from there. And his basic gun, so that's him used up his movement, so that die is now done. His basic attack, he put a 4 in there. He gets to pick a target in an entire row because he's firing a fusion cannon. So he is picking poor Bolt here, who is behind cover. There is a mechanic called advantage attack or advantageous attack. I've forgotten offhand what it is. That just means if there's no intervening terrain, you get a reroll on a single die in the attack. There is intervening terrain though, so that doesn't apply here. You roll dice equal to the number you put into an attack. In this case, it would be 4, and you're looking for the number of dice you put in to show up on one result. I.e., you need at least 1 4. You don't need a 4, 5, or a 6. It's not a 4 plus, and that's where it gets a little bit weird. You're looking for a 4. If you get a 4, wow. Okay, well, these are not successes. They're higher than the number needed, but they're not the number needed, so done. But he did manage to roll 2 4s. That 4 confirms the hit for 1 damage. That confirms it as a crit. Now, crits, when you're playing standard mode, most of the time they don't do anything. From what I recall, the advanced cards have a lot of on-crit effects, so it matters much more there. If he'd managed to get a 3rd 4, that would have given a free cumulative energy, which again you can spend on certain benefits, but that didn't count there. So, all said and done, he is doing 1 damage to Bolt. Bolt then gets to choose, does he take that damage, or does he choose now as being the time he procs his shield? And he is going to proc his shield because there is another attack coming in and he doesn't want to die, although the other attack has piercing which ignores shield, so all the more reason he's proccing his once per game. Poor Bolt always gets picked on, I remember that from before. That means he reduces any instance of damage by 1. The basic attack is now doing nothing. But he also spent a 5 on Ruthless Crusher. It is a piercing attack and he can pick any area on the map. And because it's piercing, it ignores shields, so he's going to pick on Bolt and do it again. This time rolling 5 dice and needing at least 1 5. And he got it. He managed to roll 3 1s and a 6. He got that 1 5 needed though, so that with piercing does 1 damage to poor Bolt. They're just going to get taken off the card. I'm not going to put damage on here, but that means he has 3 health left. That shield will persist through to the end of blue team's turn though. So he is going to be protected from any other instances. That's also all the dice spent for the red team, so it is over to the blue team now to roll their 4 dice. So for turn 1 for the team that goes second, it's 3d6s, 1d3, and they have spent the results as such. Bolt is going to have a really cool turn. He's very glass cannon, he can die super easy, but if you get the right numbers, he can actually have a really cool turn. So he's spending a 6 on Crash Land and a 3 on Hit and Run. The other 2 dice are actually both being spent on Kyojin. The 5 is being spent on movement to give him lots of movement, and the 2 is being spent on Mountain Strike. So it does mean that Bravo sadly isn't going to do anything this turn, but we should see some really neat stuff with these 2. So let's start by spending that 6 on Bolt for Crash Land. Move to any empty area, then attack with damage plus 1. So he is going to teleport, like that's his whole thing, he moves at super speed. So he's going to teleport, and he's going to teleports behind you. Right there, his shield is still on as well. And he's going to attack with damage +1. So he's going to attack with 6 dice. And he is going to attack into... who will he attack into? He's going to attack into the Magus. They both have shield capability, unfortunately. So he needs a 6 though to do anything with this attack. Let's see if he gets one. He absolutely did. He got exactly 1. So now Magus needs to decide, is he using his once per game shield to defend against this, or is he taking 2 damage? And the answer is he's absolutely shielding, because that would be half his health. So he doesn't see the shot coming in, but thankfully his shield activates and blocks 1 of the damage. He still takes the other one, so he still loses 1 of his 4 health. Then Bolt is spending the 3 on hit and run, which is attack with accuracy ++, and if he gets a hit he can move to any area, meaning he literally teleports in, attacks, teleports again after attacking. So he's only getting 3 for this, but because it's accuracy ++, you put in an extra die, and the additional number also becomes a success. So 3s or 4s will now be a success. And thankfully, that was actually a pretty good roll in any other game. He did roll a 4. That's 1 damage coming in against... Oh, didn't select a target that time. There's no point doing it into the Magus because the shield would just absorb the hit. So he'll put that into Avenger. Now, do they want to take 1 damage or activate their shield? They're going to take the 1 damage and save their shield, and then he gets to teleport away. And he's going to teleport all the way, but actually he's going to go down here. Right down here. So if Core Destroyer wants to shoot at him from across the map, he's going to have to put himself in the open. Right there. That leaves Kyojin for his attack. We'll just get that out there. So he's going to do some manoeuvring around these mines. He's got 5 movement. He moves from tile to tile for 1. He moves from tile to tile for 2. Again, you don't have to pick an area within a tile that has a mine. Then he uses 2 movement to walk into this tile and in the water. And that's it. He's good. Because then he's spending that 2 on Mountain Strike, attack with accuracy ++, on hit, pull. He can target the tile he's in or tiles in a cross shape around him. So he's targeting Core Destroyer. He spent a 2, but it's got accuracy ++, so he gets to roll 3, and that means 2s and 3s are successes. And sadly, he rolled really well. This is the one game where I roll really well when you don't need to or want to. So sadly, he missed. Some abilities, sometimes, I accidentally just moved that. Sometimes abilities have, like, if you miss, you still do this. In general, though, if you miss entirely, you get 1 cumulative energy cube to make you feel less bad, and you can hold, in standard mode, a total of 4 at most. I think in advanced mode you can hold 5. And that's it for their turn. So that is the round over. It all starts again, except now both sides are rolling the maximum number of dice, 3d6 and the 2d3s. So as that turn ends, the shields go away on those who activate the shields. They will not come back in standard mode, so they cannot be used again. The only person who's got a shield they can activate still on the table is Avenger over here. And now we'll see the dice roll for red team. So they've got 3 1s and 2 3s to play with. That is less than stellar, but still usable. And here's how the dice have shaken out. Again, not exactly great results. However, the 3 is being put on a basic attack for Core Destroyer. The 1, or one of the 1s, is being placed on Portal Trap, which we're going to do first. A 1 has been placed on Escape Artist, which is the reroll and reassigned to someone else. We're not doing that immediately this time, so we'll see what it becomes later in the turn. A 1 is being given to Avenger for movement, and the 3 is being given to them to do the kick attack, because there's actually a synergy between these two we can use that we'll see in a second. Alright, zoomed in a little bit for this. The 1 on the Magus is being spent on Portal Trap. Teleport a target to any empty area, and he can target a row or column. He is targeting Avenger and teleporting them down the row right next to Bravo. I had to double check his actual name because I was going to call him Optimus. Then kick is being, Avenger is doing kick for that 3. You roll the 3 dice. On hit, he would heal 1 HP. On a miss, he gets accuracy plus, and he tries to do it again without the HP steal. So just 3 dice to start with. Looking for a 3, and he missed. I presume the cumulative energy benefit still applies because he missed a basic attack. So now he has accuracy plus plus. 3s and 4s would succeed. and he didn't get any again. So another cumulative energy, but he wasn't able to. That was an attempt to get him to heal his HP, or at the very least do some damage. That is a problem. He's then spending the one he's got on him for movement to retreat ever so slightly into this tile to try and get away from Bravo, because he doesn't want to get punished for what he just tried. Next, we'll re-roll the die on mages that he assigned to Escape Artist. It became a 6. Well, in that case, the 6 can be assigned to Avenger to do a basic attack, because he hasn't done a basic attack yet. As long as you haven't done the action, you can do it. So, well, he got a crit on Bravo. Crits don't do anything for that attack, so that's just 1 damage to Bravo, which at least means he did something. And then their final die is the 3 on Core Destroyer, and he's just going to shoot at Kyojin, since Kyojin is bearing down on them a little bit here. So it's just 3 dice though, because he only put 3 in. A 3 is a success, and he whiffed, but they get +1 cumulative energy. So now they could choose to spend one of those to reroll an action die. They could spend 2 to get accuracy ++ on an attack that wouldn't normally have it, or they could spend 3 to get basic damage +1. But they're not doing anything else right now though. That is their turn done. Apologies about the glare on Bolt's card. I'm trying to get it at an angle where most of the information is still retained. Their roll also contained 3 1s, remarkably, so they're not doing a huge amount either. 1 is being given to Bravo for movement, 1 is also being given to Bolt for movement. A 5 is being given to Bravo to do his Vent Plasma attack, and the final 1 was given to him to do a desperate basic attack where you're only rolling 1 die and hoping it lands on a 1. They rolled a 2, and that was given to Kyojin to once again try that mountain strike. He wants to pull Core Destroyer into the mountain for extra damage. We'll see if it actually happens though. So we've got a lot of things happening up this end of the board. Bravo is spending 1 to move from tile to tile to say hello giant archer person, and then we're going to hurt him. We're going to spend the 5 on that Vent Plasma, which is an AoE attack, which means it hits everywhere in range, which is the tile and then a cross shape around him, or a, you know, orthogonally only, not diagonally. But there's no one else there besides Avenger, so it's +1 damage, and that means he's rolling 5 dice. We'll have to roll it where the camera can see. And he got 2 5s, so it's a crit. Crit doesn't do anything, but that is 2 damage coming in, and Avenger is going to use their shield. So that's the last shield procced. Still takes 1 damage, but at least reduces it a little bit. And then he might as well just try and get that last health off him, which is a bit of blue health, so then his health bar will fill with normal. And he's literally just rolling 1 die, and if it's a 1, it's a hit. Nope, although with the shield up, it wouldn't have made any difference actually, but there wasn't anything else to do with that. He technically, no, he couldn't even have moved because he already spent a die on movement. Speaking of which, if we pull back a little bit now to see the other 2, Bolt is moving, whoop, right there. And then finally, over here, we have Kyojin spending that 2 to once again try and pull Core Destroyer into the mountain. It's got accuracy plus, so 2s and 3s are successes, and once again he manages not to get a single success. 1 more cumulative energy then. Oh, you could have spent, actually you could spend the 1 cumulative energy they have to reroll. He'll do that instead actually. Let's try. We'll reroll and try and get a 2 or a 3. Still missed, so still gets that cumulative energy, but now they still have a net positive of 1. And that was a really quick turn, but that's it. So we're already on to the 3rd turn, I believe. I double checked the wording for when shields disappear. It's after the robot's turn, not the team's turn. So Avenger has to activate again before that shield vanishes. So just rolling the dice for red team to see what they have to play with. 1, 2, 3, 3, 6 is what they're playing with for this one. Well, the Magus isn't getting to do anything this turn. The 1 was given to Core Destroyer for movement. The 6 was given to him to do Terraform. So probably do that in advance. It involves turning a tile on the board, and then he gets to do a free attack as part of it. And the rest of the dice were all given to Avenger. A 3 for movement, a 2 for his long shot ability that requires a 2, and a 3 to once again attempt that kick to try and get some heal off of it, but we'll see what happens. So Core Destroyer spent that 1 to move within the tile he was on, so he has clear line of sight. He spent that 6 on Terraform and turned 90 degrees the tile that Kyojin was standing on to give him clear line of sight. He is then getting a free attack as part of that Terraform, so he's rolling all 6 dice, needs 1 6 to succeed, but because he is shooting from a separate tile, with nothing blocking line of sight, he has what's called advantage. He gets a reroll on a die. And he's not going to need it because he got 2 6s. He got 3 6s, but he might as well try for a 4th. He actually got a 4th. That's unbelievable. So what that means is, successful hit. The hit is a crit. Both those extra ones give 2 cumulative energy. However, unfortunately for him, he only has space to store 1 more, and it wasn't declared that he was spending any ahead of that, so that other one is lost. But who would have foreseen rolling 4 6s? So it still only does 1 damage, all said and done, but that is the first bit of damage on Kyojin done. And then all that's left to do now is the stuff with the Avenger, not the Avenger. So up there at the back end of the table, he has quite the turn planned. He's going to start by spending on kick to once again try and heal. He didn't get any successes, which means he gets accuracy ++ and gets to try again, but with no heal, so 3s and 4s. He got a couple of 4s, so he does do 1 damage to Bravo, but it doesn't get any other effect. He's then spending on movement. He is spending a 3 on movement to go 1-2 because he's leaving a tower with an enemy. And then where's he going to go next? You know, he's going to move. He has to see. Actually, no, he can shoot anywhere. He's just going to move from this tile to over here. And I'll just take his shield away now because it's at the end of his turn. So he's actually over here, and then he's spending that 2 on long shot, which means he can target any area on the map, and he doesn't need line of sight. So, well, he kind of has a diagonally, but diagonals don't count in this game. He's going to shoot a bolt, and he is spending 3 of their cumulative energy to make it do +1 damage. So it is accuracy ++, so it's 3 dice, 2s and 3s are successful, and if it hits it does 2 damage. Haha, and he rolled 2 1s and a 6. Unfortunately, oh, he could spend the last cumulative energy to reroll 1. He will. He'll reroll 1 of them. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, 2 or 3 because it's got ++. So he did get the hit. So that is 2 damage to Bolt, who now has 1 health left. And that is their entire turn done. Unfortunately for the blue team, that was another weak set of dice results, rolling 2 2s, 2 1s and a 5. The 5 has been given to Bravo to do Vent Plasma again, the 2 has been given to him for movement. Bolt's got a single point of movement. Kyojin has a 2 for the Mountain Strike again, although now he can't even pull his target into the mountain, unfortunately. And he's got a 1 for a basic attack for lack of anything better to do with it. So it's not going to be a great turn, but let's see. So we're going to start with Bravo spending that 2 on movement. He's going to move to this tile, and then he's going to move to this tile. He'll move here actually on this tile. And that's it so far. Then he's going to he'll spend a 5, he might as well actually, because it would hit this tile, this tile, this tile, this tile, and the tile he's on, so it's still only hitting Avenger. And it's AoE with damage +1, 5 dice, needing a 5 to succeed. And he didn't get it. Oof, that's rough. He will spend their 1 cumulative energy on a reroll to try for a 5, and got a 6. So, well, it comes back because the attack missed, at the very least, but he wanted to proc that blue health cube to get Avenger to his final 3 health, but that's not going to happen. The 1 movement on Bolt is being used to move from one tile to one tile. I guess he could technically move here because it's in the same tile. And then finally, Kyojin's doing a couple of things. Let's see if he can do Mountain Strike, 3rd time's the charm. Accuracy plus, so it's 3 dice, 2s and 3s are successes, and he rolled 2 4s and a 6. He only ever rolls high on that attack apparently. Well, that's another cumulative energy for doing a miss. And that means because he didn't pull him in, he can't do anything because his basic attack only hits the tile he's on, so he can't even spend that final die. That is a real bad turn for them. Top of a new turn, let's see what the blue team has to play with now. Well, that's not too bad actually. Well, they've got 2 6s to play with, although only Core Destroyer has a 6. Although it's good just for an attack as well. 2 2s and a 1. And here's where those dice went. 6 again on a Terraform, 1 on a Portal Trap, 2 on Escape Artist, which means we re-roll it and reassign it. So it became a 3, which means it can be assigned to a kick. I guess we'll do that, although, well, yeah, no. Won't give it to a kick because there's no one within range and he doesn't have any movement. So it'll just go to a basic attack for Core Destroyer then. And the Magus has a 2. He's also allowed to currently teleport anywhere he likes, so he'll be doing that in a second. And the other 6 went on Avenger's basic attack. So there's actually a chance for more shenanigans from the red side. Escape Artist kicks in. The Magus teleports to any area on the map. He is teleporting down here. He is then spending 1 on Portal Trap, teleport a target to any empty area, and he fires off in a column. So he is going to select Bolt here and teleport him next to Avenger. Avenger is then spending that 6 on basic attack to just fire into Bolt, getting a reroll for advantage attack. Oh wait, no, they're in the same tile. No advantage attack. Just trying to get that 1 last health off him. And he's done it. He got the 6. So that is 1 last damage to Bolt, and Bolt explodes. Now when a team loses one of their number, you can do a few things. You can choose to heal someone for 2. You can choose to fill up your cumulative energy, or you can unlock the ultimate of a character. So they're going to unlock Kyojin's ultimate, which is called Iwatenage, which is the push or pull in any direction in a cross shape around him. It's quite powerful. So he now has access to that. It costs Bolt his life, but what can you do? And let's see what else is left after that. Magus has a 2 in his basic attack, and he can target anyone. He'll target Bravo. Just rolling 2 dice, seeing if he gets a 2. 4s and 6s are coming up way too much. So he whiffed with that, but that's fine. The Core Destroyer will do a basic attack for 3 into Kyojin with advantage. Gets a reroll, a 4 and a 6 again, and now a 5. So basic attack missed. They get cumulative energy. Oh, they got 1 for Magus missing as well. There we go. All that's left now is to spend his 6 on a Terraform, and it doesn't really matter how he turns this. He doesn't really need to. He just wants the free attack off of it. So we'll just do the attack to save me having to awkwardly turn that tile again. Looking for a 6. He got 2 of them, so it's a crit. And that is 2nd point of damage off Kyojin. But he is a tanky boy. Well, with Off-Brand Bumblebee dead, here is how the dice have been spent by the 2 survivors of Blue Team. A 3 has been assigned to Bravo for movement, a 5 for Vent Plasma, and a 3 for a Plasma Shot. And the other 2 dice, a 2 was rolled, so Mountain Strike once again for Kyojin, and a massive 5 for movement because he wants to get out of the radius of where Bravo wants to attack. So we'll see what we can make happen here. Alright, so first things first, Kyojin is spending that 5 to go 1, 2, 3, and then it would be 4, 5 to leave. Oh, actually, because there's water there, I think, oh no, he doesn't need to go in the water, he can choose to go here. It's still +1 because he's leaving a square with an enemy, but he's going there, and then he is spending that 2 on Mountain Strike. He can attack the tile down the way from him. He's going to try and do it on Core Destroyer for the umpteenth time. 3 dice, 2s and 3s are successes. He actually did it this time. He got a crit, not that that matters. So he pulls him towards him, boom, which means it's 1 damage for the successful attack and a 2nd damage for smacking him into a mountain. Now if I remember rightly from watching my old videos, mountains are indestructible. The buildings, they fall apart. They get hit and then break in half, and then the 2nd hit removes them completely, which is kind of cool. But they haven't really played a part here because there isn't enough push or pull. But finally, Core Destroyer has taken some damage, so that's good. Then we come to the nasty stuff with Bravo going all out. So he's spending that 3 on movement to go 1, 2, right here. Then he's spending the 5 on Vent Plasma. It's AoE, it's his tile, that tile, that tile, that tile, that tile, which means Core Destroyer and Avenger are both getting hit by it, and it is damage +1. You roll individually for each target, from what I remember. So 5 dice into Core Destroyer first, and he did get him, so that is 2 damage, and that hits his blue pip, so that disappears, and then his health bar refills with green, so he's now got 4 health remaining. That was a good hit. Can he do the same to Avenger? The +1 damage is not going to matter against Avenger because he would be hitting a blue health, but let's see. He did get him, critted him in fact. So it only does 1 damage though because he was on his last pip and it was blue. His health bar now refills and he has 3 health remaining. That was a good decent hit though. And we're not done yet. It's a shame his attack, he's got a 3 on a plasma shot. It doesn't have a pull, it has a push. So unfortunately he's not going to be able to push somebody into scenery. But he's going to shoot at Avenger so I guess we'll turn him this way. I think you're allowed to shoot through the building, even though it's larger than him. It's just you don't get advantage on the attack. I might be misremembering. It's accuracy plus, so 4 dice, 3s and 4s. And he managed to roll 4s and 6s. What is it with these dice and 4s and 6s? I feel like I should get other, like, third-party dice, because I'm not sure I trust these. But either way, he missed. That's +1 cumulative energy. For them, they have 3 now, and that is their turn over. Health bars on the blue team still looking pretty healthy, if you pardon the almost pun. But their dice roll for what to play with does not. They always seem to roll 1s and 2s, and the other team rolls 4s and 6s. Neither side wants these numbers, but they keep getting them to play with. Well, there is only so much you can do, but Escape Artist is kicking in. Reroll and reallocate this die, then teleport to an area. It became a 2, which I guess he'll put into a basic attack since he can attack anywhere. And we'll see where he ends up in a second. So the Magus teleport kicks in. He's going over there. He's just wanting to stay safe and attack at range now. Speaking of which, he is going to then use that basic 2 he put in his basic attack on Bravo. So needs a 2. Rolled a 1 and a 4, so he missed and gets some cumulative energy. Next, we'll do a basic attack with Core Destroyer. He put 1 into that. He's shooting at Bravo. Roll a 1. Nope, came close though. So that's also a waste, but that means our cumulative energy is now full. And now Avenger is going to have a long turn. So, where is he moving? Let's see here. He is moving adjacent to Bravo for 2. So he's moving from one tile to the next tile, but he's moving into water, so it's +1. Uses up all his movement. Then he's spending that 3 on Kick. Kick hasn't really worked out for him that well so far, but still isn't. So he misses with the first one, so no self-heal. Although he's back to, he can't self-heal back blue, actually, so it wouldn't have mattered. 3s and 4s now. So he got 1 damage through on Bravo, which takes away his blue pip, and leaves him with 3 HP remaining. Let me just look that out real quick. Done. Which isn't too bad. And then he's going to spend 2 on Long Shot, which has accuracy ++. So 3 dice, 2s and 3s are successes, into Bravo again. And he got a 2 and a 3, so he took off 1 more bit of his health. They're having a better time. Between them, Bravo's got 2 health left. Kyojin still has 3 on his first health bar and then 5 on his last, so he's going to be hard to take down. Core Destroyer's got 4 left, Magus has 3. So does Avenger. But it's over to the remnants of the blue team. Wow, Bolt's card is still so super shiny. I'm glad he's dead. Anyway, 1 was given to Bravo for movement, 3 for a plasma shot, 3 for a basic attack, a 2 for a mountain strike from Kyojin, and a 2 was given to redirect energy. It gives you 1 cumulative energy, which I ran out of pips for, so that's going to mean they have 4. And then you -1 from the result of the die, and you reallocate it. It's getting reallocated to a basic attack that will probably miss, but it's got a 1 in 6 chance of doing something. So of all those dice to spend, Kyojin's going first with that mountain strike to try and pull Shockwave, Core Destroyer, into the wall. So it's accuracy ++, 3 dice, 2s and 3s are successes, and he got a 2, so bang, into there, 2 of his 4 health gone just like that. That's a good start. He then might as well spend his 1. Does he get a 1 on Core Destroyer? No, he doesn't. Fine. No room for any more cumulative energy. Didn't want to spend it there anyway. So, then, it's over to what Bravo is doing. And Bravo wants to kill Avenger this turn, ideally. So, he is immediately going to spend that 3 on Plasma Shot, point blank range. 3 dice, actually ++, so it's actually 4. 3s and 4s are successes. And, hang on, it's got push, so that would be 2 damage. He's spending 3 of, they had 4, to make it +1 damage as well. So if this hits, in total it's going to do 3 damage and kill Avenger. And unfortunately, it did not, because he needed a 3 or a 4. He'll spend their last cumulative energy on a reroll, and didn't get it. That would have been such a cool thing to happen, because it would have been +1 damage, so 2 damage base. It has push on it. Push him into the boulder and shatter on it for his 3rd bit of health. That would have been so cool. Sadly, it didn't happen. He missed, so he gets 1 energy back. Couldn't get a 3 or a 4 on 4 dice with a single reroll. Oof. Well, he's got a 3 on a basic attack, so he might as well do that. Of course, there he rolls a 3, so he does 1 damage. It's something, but it could have been so much cooler. That's just the way the dice goes. He also actually, he could have, no, he would have needed a 2 to move. If he'd moved with a 2 over here and done a pull instead, I don't think he can. No, you can only push. So actually, if he spent 2 movement to move here and done a push that way upon reflection, if you land on a mine, it does 2 damage on impact. So he could have done 1 extra than what was needed and not needed to spend the cumulative energy. Doesn't matter as it turns out because of his dice roll. He has 1 left he could spend a movement. He can't leave the tile he's on because there's an enemy still alive. So it's wasted. That's rough. I think that's probably given Red Team the chance they need to take it. Let's see what they're playing with. 1, 2, 3, 4 and a 6. Yep, they can do some nasty stuff with that. So here's how the dice have shaken out. Terraform, basic attack has got the 4 on it. Escape artist, so it's become a 3, which is going to be given to... he might as well have it as a basic attack, and he's probably not going to move very far because he's just staying hidden at this point. 2 for a long shot, 3 for a kick again on Avenger, and that's it. So it would have been more thematic to have Core Destroyer go for the kill, but because of having no movement, it makes much more sense to go with Avenger first. So he's going to spend on that kick. Will he actually get heals? He will, eventually. It took the entire game. He heals 1 and does 1 damage, leaving Bravo on 1 health remaining. And then he's spending on long shot, 2 dice, but accuracy plus plus, so 2s and 3s. That's a 1 as well. He whiffed. They could spend on a reroll. They will. And he got him. That is, unfortunately, Bravo down. So now Kyojin is going to pick to fully fill up their cumulative energy because I don't think the heal's going to make much difference now. So now the red team just need to clean up Kyojin. Magus spending that 3 to attack from wherever he wants. He does 1 damage. Still got a lot left though. And then, ooh, he could terraform. Well, he's gonna, but he doesn't really need to spin because it's not going to make a difference. But I guess to do it right, he's terraforming this tile to twist that way, like that. He doesn't have movement though, so he can't get advantage. But he is rolling 6 dice for terraform, and didn't get one. They'll spend cumulative energy on a reroll. Try for a 6. Nope. 4, 4, 5, 5, and 2 1s. Good grief. And then they'll spend his 4 on a basic attack into Kyojin. And the one time they wanted a 4, they got 2 6s instead, because that's just the way dice be rolling sometimes. It was a miss though, so 1 cumulative energy back. So Kyojin's going to try and have a monster of a turn. Sadly, 1 die is just being wasted because he hasn't got anything he can do with it. A 1 is being given to movement. A 3 is being put on redirect energy, mostly to get it down to a 2 so he can reallocate it up to here to let him do that mountain strike. He's got the 4 needed to actually do his ult, so we'll hopefully see that. And he's putting a 6 on a basic attack. Let's see if he can go full beast mode. Alright, first things first, it's going to be a mountain strike on Core Destroyer. Accuracy plus, so it's going up to 3 dice. 2s and 3s are successes, and he did get a 2. He gets pulled, so he smashes his face into the rock, which in total does 2 damage and actually takes him out. So he got revenge for Bravo, if nothing else. And on that note, Magus is going to unlock his ult because he could make use of the scenery that way. It's called Grand Illusion. We'll cover it if he does it. He needs a 5 to activate it. So that used up his Mountain Strike. He's then spending that 4 on his ult, his Awatanage. Push or pull a target in any direction, then attack them. And he can do it in the cross shape around him again. Oh, sorry, missed part of that. There. Now he can do it. So he is pushing or pulling in one direction and then attacking with 4 dice. Actually, he was here. Makes much more sense to move to this tile because the mine would do more damage. Yeah, that makes much more sense. Sadly, he did not get the result he needed, so he's going to spend all 4 cumulative energy he had stored up, which is control a die result. So actually, you see that 1 there? That was actually a 4, meaning that the attack goes through. So it does 1 damage base, and he's pulling Avenger onto the mine here, which explodes and does 2 damage and takes him out as well. Get wrecked. So he's used that, he's used everything except his basic attack. Sadly, he can't reach Magus because he's across the table, but he did manage to get a double kill in his turn, so that's pretty cool. On that note, the only thing that Magus can do that's of any use to him is heal the 1 health he's missing from the second kill there, because he already has his ult unlocked. Well, Kyojin had the touch and had the power, but can he catch up with an old man that can teleport wherever he likes, and who can now also manipulate obstacles on the table, such as mines, and force you onto them? I don't think so, but let's see what he gets to play with. So, Magus Magus, whatever you want to say his name is, he's got a 1, 2, 3, and a couple of 6s. He didn't roll a 5, but he will get the chance to reroll one of those dice to try for a 5. I'm kind of excited to see how this plays out. 6 being given to him for movement, a 1 for portal trap, a 3 for escape artist. Will it roll into a 5? It did not. There's nowhere for it to reallocate, so it's just discarded. And he's got a 6 on a basic attack. So he's going to move from this tile to this tile for the escape artist. Then he's going to do his basic attack. He can attack anywhere on the table for 6. He needs a 6. He got 3 of them, so he gets a cumulative energy, so he's maxed out, and does 1 damage. Then he will spend his 1 on teleport or trap, teleport a target to any empty area. He is teleporting across the map all the way down to the bottom corner there, and I think because he can manipulate it this way, there's no chance for Kyojin, but I guess we'll see what he rolls. No matter where I move the camera, the light is just too shiny here. He did roll a 6, which is being given to movement, so that might let him get in range. 2 on a mountain strike, 2 on a redirect energy. It brings it down to a 1 and then just discarded because there's nowhere it can go. He's done that for the cumulative energy to give him 1, and then he's got a 3 on a basic attack. Forgot to start filming before he started moving, but he used 5 of that 6 movement to get into the adjacency with the mages. From down here, moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's that gone, and all we can do is the mountain strike and the basic strike. He'll start with the basic strike, so that is 3 dice, needing a 3. He got a 3, there's 1 damage. Every little counts, he's got to get 4 through. Then he's going to do the mountain strike, which has pull, and if you pull someone into yourself, you both take 1 damage, although some people have a pull attack where you don't take self damage from the pull because you like kick them when they arrive. It's accuracy plus, so it's 2s and 3s are successes, and he did roll a 2, I hope that was on camera. So 1 damage for the attack landing, and pulling him into Kyojin does a 2nd point of damage, leaving him on 1, but that does also take away the last bit of health on Kyojin, which was a blue pip. So now his health bar fills with just green, putting him at 5 health remaining, which is actually going to be real tough for Magus Magus to get through, but he won't be able to get caught unless each turn Kyojin happens to roll a high number. And let's see what number of dice he has to deal with here. 3 3s and a 5, so he can't. Oh, with the 5 he could actually do his ult, so that might swing things back in his favour. So we'll be seeing what Grand Illusion does in a second. It needs a 5, and it covers a 3x3 area on a 4x4 cube or a tiled table. 3 on a basic attack, 3 on escape artist. It became a 2, he was trying to make it a 1, so sadly not, because he could have just teleported Kyojin across the table again. That 3 is there for movement, so that's what he's got to play with, starting with his teleport from escape artist. So he teleported to where you can see him right there, and then he's spending that 5 on Grand Illusion, teleport an obstacle to anywhere within range, which is the 3x3 tile I mentioned, then push the target, then attack. So this obstacle, I believe mines count as obstacles. It might mean buildings and rocks only. I'm going to say that it counts mines, even if it isn't meant to. So then you push the target. So Kyojin is pushed onto the mine, it explodes, and takes 2 damage. Because ults are meant to be powerful, because you have to work for them. So that's 2 damage of his 5. Then he gets to do his attack. So that's 5 dice, needing a 5. And he did get 2 5s, so that is 1 more health, leaving Kyojin on 2. And then he can do a basic attack for 3. So just 3 dice, needing a 3. And he got a 3, it's down to the finish line. Kyojin has 1 health remaining. All the mages can do is move for 3. He can move... Oh, there's water all around him though, that's a problem. There's also scenery all around him. He has to make sure he's not adjacent to scenery. He'll go 1, 2, 3. because he has to walk onto the water tile, I think. Actually, no, he could have went diagonal. He could have went 1, but either way. He's hiding there because he doesn't want to be adjacent. Oh, sorry. He was there, he moved there, and then moved there. Doesn't want to be adjacent or orthogonal to any scenery. So since this just comes down to can Kyojin get within range to do an attack on the mages, we're going to do the roll for what dice he has to play with live. Here they are. And he got 2 3s, 2 4s, and a 2. So, let's see here. The 2 means he can do Mountain Strike. The 4 means he can do his ult. But that still means he has to get within a tile. The best movement he can get is a 4. And the best thing he can put in a basic attack is a 3. So, let's play out and see if he can actually make this happen. We'll come a bit closer. He is going to go over this end of the table. So, 1 point of movement gets him to this tile. 2 points of movement gets him to this tile. And he can be anywhere within the tile. Now, how can he try and fandangle more damage? At best he can... he's only got a range of 1. If he had a range of 2, he could have sat there, pulled him with one attack, and then pulled him with the next attack. Although, such as it is, both of them still have pull, and he's adjacent. Yeah, okay, that's fine, if it lands, that is. So he'll spend the 2 on Mountain Strike, which is accuracy plus, so it's 3 dice, 2s and 3s. And he rolled a 2, so... Oh, actually, that does 1 base damage. So never mind, that's enough. I forgot he only had 1 health left. I was trying to be too clever with it. That actually takes him out, but just out of curiosity, or what I had planned, he was going to do a Watanagi, which means he could then pull him in any direction, push or pull target in any direction, then attack. Boom, explode him. This is just him toying with the corpse. And then he would get to do that attack. 4 dice. I didn't get a 4. Well, with a reroll from cumulative energy. Let's pretend he did. He then would have pushed him into the building, destroyed the building, and then just displayed the corpse. Because, as it turns out, Kyojin's a little bit of a sadist. But he has won the day, just barely. So after successfully taking out that octogenarian, the blue team did win today, and it was a fun time returning to Core Clash. I do remember liking it. I couldn't really focus on it because it had such a small following, with so many people not even knowing it existed, like 400 odd people backing the Kickstarter. Still got it produced, and the quality is very nice. You can still get boxes of it, by the way, from the creator's website, Boar Studio, B-O-A-R, Boar Studio. They did try and do a painting supplies Kickstarter during the pandemic. They cancelled that just because it wasn't really getting much following. That had some extra Core Clash stuff in it, but that's now just been canned. They were selling a very similar looking combiner to Superion, let's just say. You can still get the separate models, but you can't seem to buy the combiner form, which is a shame because I thought it looked really, really cool. But either way, if you enjoyed this, go check out the other 2 or 3 battle reports I did on it. Maybe check out the original unboxing if you want to see all the characters that I haven't painted yet, because there's a lot of them. There's like 16, I think, including massive bosses that I've never even tackled. But if, after watching this, your verdict is for rather than against, that would give me an excuse to get those gigantic miniatures painted, and we can maybe try the co-op boss mode, or try the advanced mode where the cards are totally different. I think I might have an advanced card right here, actually. Do I? Where are they? Yeah, there they are. Oh yeah, that's perfect. There's a character. I'll get it open so the poly wallet isn't in the reflection. But for instance, there's Bravo's advanced mode card, where his attacks are completely different. He is immune to burn. He's got a different ult. He's got Avalanche Strike, which is a massive AoE that freezes people, and he's got a Coolant Blast that freezes people. So his whole playstyle changes. The numbers he needs for these attacks also change. So it's a bit neat that there is this more complicated mode that I've never tackled, because the standard mode seemed fine, but if you wanted more complexity, stats effects and such, it came with that, and they listened to feedback and were like, oh, you want a co-op mode? Here's a co-op mode. If you wanted a boss mode, here's a boss mode. Like, they were very recipients, that's not the word I was looking for. They were very open to hearing feedback during the creation process, especially with it being delayed over COVID. But yeah, go check out the original unboxing or the previous battle reports if you want to see more of the characters, and cast your vote in the comments. Take to the comments for or against, for whatever reason you so choose, and we'll maybe talk more about the game at a later date. Thank you for giving it a chance though if you did. Hope you enjoyed either way, and I'll see you in the future for something else. Ta-ta for now.